So with that, right? It's if you're not comfortable using it, then don't use it.
Don't drop it.
Don't drop it in because you're trying to fit in,
just
right?
Because you can, but
you know what I'm saying? Because I think that's the thing too. Is right. You may want to use it, but if you don't know how to drop it in where it's supposed to go, it's gonna come off wrong. So stick with what you know.
You know,
Stick with.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Deep MCs, the podcast that seeks to push meaningful conversation to a whole new level. Whether it's for your entertainment or your personal growth, we appreciate you being here today. And now, on to the show. What's going on, man?
Hey, bro.
What's going on? We're gonna debut some new background music today, by the way, because I feel we have or will get into something special. So for all those out there that's listening, we're gonna debut this new, not this one, but maybe this one. We'll see how they feel. No, a little too. We're getting ready to an angry subject.
I like it. Let's roll with it.
No, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with this instead. Also, new. I want to have a little more upbeat.
So why did I say I like it? And he said no. And flip the button like quick, like no. That's not what I want to show you.
At all. I like this. I want to have something a little more upbeat for everybody because this is going to be a little. I mean, what are we getting into today? Let's just get into it.
I see right now I'm gonna have to start running this board.
What are we getting into today?
Yeah, we getting into the N words. What we talking about?
The N word.
Yeah.
The N-I.
I felt like you could be called one at this point.
Yeah, man. This is going to be the one that gets us blocked off the internet.
Man, we really not on the internet like that. So how they gonna block us?
Hey, once you put the N word out there, everybody pays attention.
Everybody comes, huh?
Everybody comes.
Maybe. It may be a double-edged sword. It might help us.
Exactly. We had a conversation about this a little bit, just because of a lot of things that have been going on. I don't know. There were some issues that have been going on with Joe Rogan and his podcast lately, and then that tapered off into The Rock sending him some encouragement and some support a little bit as well. And then it turned around that Joe had some controversial language, as they say, going into things. And then from there, that turned into The Rock backtracking his support because of it. And it just really, I guess, gets us to thinking like the N-word. The N-word. First of all, everybody calls it the N-word, which I laugh because, like, I don't know, like, it's just one of those things that you're just not. Certain people say it, certain people don't, but everybody knows what it is.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure
Right.
as soon as you say the N-word, in their minds, they visualize the word that's there. Anyway.
I mean, the thing for me, man, is we only use that. You know what? I'm not gonna make a glittering generality, okay? But I think a lot of people that say the N-word as, as the thing, only say that in public. In those settings where, because in actuality, I believe the majority of them say the word.
They use the word. As a whole.
Yeah, I mean, all of the syllables.
Yeah, no, and that's where I guess we really need to kind of break it down, because it's interesting that word has created such a crazy dynamic between people and like what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. Why can you say it? Why can you not say it? Why, whatever the situation is, and everybody has a different stance on it, and everybody has. I
mean, for me, we live in a, I guess, a free world. I guess we can say that. I mean, possibly, maybe. I don't know. So we live in this world. Okay, we'll say that, right? We live in this one, and you have the ability to be able to say and do whatever you want to say or do.
Yes.
Now there's consequences.
Yes.
To you saying or doing whatever you want to say or do. Okay.
Yes.
But make a choice. Let's make a choice, right?
Yes.
And for me, there's some things. Clearly, I'm fully black. Okay. African American. Which one were you choosing?
Well, I don't know. That's a whole nother.
That's another situation, right?
Dang, yeah,
that's another situation. So, and this almost works because we in Black History Month. Here we go. Okay.
Yes. Here we go.
Right. I'm not
nigga history.
See that. I can't even finish my thought. The thing is, see that has a different connotation. I told him earlier because there's a A at the end of that and not an ER at the end of that.
Yes, but so we're getting way off topic.
Way off topic.
Why whenever there's an ER after it, when everybody says it, why does it always go to country? But why does it go to country?
What you mean?
Right? Because it's never just like nigger. Like it's always like fucking nigger. Like it always goes.
When somebody repeats it, that's what
it always
sounds
comes
like
out
that.
Real country.
Because like, I mean, of course, all of that stuff is rooted, and it's connected and rooted in slavery and all of those things, right?
But why you got to say it?
Because that's where we connected back to. We connected to the deep south.
I know, but no matter where you are, south. Whether you're California, New York, whatever, that word
it connects back to the deep country south.
As fuck, and I don't know.
And most of the people that live in California fleed from the south anyway.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, going back to what you're saying.
I forgot what I was saying.
Because see, the word is that polarizing. It fucked you up. You don't even know what to think now. Where do you like people using it?
There's a and I'm not justifying my use of it, right? I'm not saying that mine is better or less than yours, but mine isn't used as a negative connotation. It's used as a slang name, right? Like bro, or or partner, or whatever you want to say, right? Whatever those are, right?
Whatever you want to yeah.
And it's not used in an offensive way. I think there's a difference between the and it sounds crazy. It almost I almost sound crazy saying it, right? But I think there's a difference in utilizing it that way as opposed to utilizing it in a way that's for degrading or to see that person as something inferior.
Right.
And that's the difference. I think that's where it's used in a different way. And even sometimes it's taken out of context because that's not how everybody meant it. Or, but sometimes we just need something to be mad at. And
for sure, and I think that, so you said a lot of things and that goes off in a lot of branches for me, because I know that a lot of people like, it's so weird. Like, you don't even know where to start when you talk about the word, right? Because so there is no starting point. Have so many questions,
right?
Around it,
right?
And it's like it's one of those words that like some people get excitement out of being able to say, or whatever.
Take this, man. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I saw there were 3 Hispanic guys.
Yeah,
and they were talking to each other.
Yeah.
And it came out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they were referring to each other in the conversation.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with a black person at all.
At all.
But it became this slang term that they were using as part of their conversation.
No, for sure. And I guess for me that's one of those things that, and this kind of, this goes in a whole nother, when we decided to talk about this, I didn't really think about how many rabbit holes this goes down, because there's a lot that when I think about it comes to, and we haven't really touched anything, and we've been talking now for 8 minutes. But the thing about it is, even when you say that, because it's one of those words that can incite a riot,
right?
But it's also an endearing word, but it's also a word that people adopt, i.e. the Mexicans saying to the Mexicans, because I've seen that myself.
Yeah.
But it's a word that you're not supposed to say, but it's also a word, like there's so many things that go into it of who can say it, who can't say it. But it also falls in line with some of those words where I don't understand why people get offended. So like the word bitch, right? Or the word like gay, right? When people, and I've been a victim of saying that, like, oh, that's gay, right? Mm-hmm. And it has, like I said, the Hispanics calling each other nigga has nothing to do with the origin of the word, whatever. To them, that's like partner or whatever. And they don't, and they're talking to each other. They're not even talking to anybody else, right? Same thing when I say something that's gay, right? Like has nothing to do with the person or where it originated from or whatever. Like that's just another way of saying that's stupid or that's whatever, right? And that's how it's viewed. But then people take it as no, because now you're disrespecting this and you're disrespecting that, or like whatever. Like you call someone, like you say bitch or whatever. But so certain people use bitch as an endearing word, but if you call someone a bitch, you know, don't be a bit, well, no, that's offensive to
you know what,
this, that, or the other.
It sounds like, you know, and hearing you talk, right? And this is not anything I didn't know before, but it really, the use of all of those words are connected to relationship.
Yes, they are.
The ability to be able to say any of those words to anybody in a way that they don't feel offended only comes out of relationship.
And that's it.
And that's it, period.
And that's solely it. And that's where I get confused a lot of times with saying nigga or whatever. Because even people say, okay, well, the ER is different than the GGA, right? Like you say that, right? But is it? Is it really? Because, you know, that's like, you know, potato, Porsche, aluminium, color. Some people are just real proper, and that's how they use it. So
the word is, I don't, you know, and I was talking about from a you know, what you picture, right?
No, for sure.
You picture a white person with a bullhorn, with a Confederate flag behind them, yelling "you niggers," right? That's something different than you and me hanging out, we laughing and joking, and you do something stupid on the soundboard,
right?
And me like, nigga, you know,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But that only comes out of relationship.
And it does, and I think that, but I think though, because of that, some people get too offended, and we attack some people when we don't have that relationship with them. So like, how is it justifiable and fair, right? Because there's a lot of, like, even like I talk about my group text, which I haven't been in a long time, so sorry guys, I've been absent for a while. But like in that, you have what, two whites, 2 Mexicans, and a black, and you know, whatever. And we had like a semi conversation about that, where one, you know, the lighter version's like, oh, I don't say that word, like.
So why did you just do that? Why did you just say that?
Because that's what they sound like, right? I don't say that word. No, but that's just right. That's what we do. This is how you, in your head, that's how you see it, right? Right. Oh no, you know, whatever it is, like Jesus, you know. But it's one of those things where they don't use it, and because they think that whatever, like, is it going to offend me or whatever, like, and I personally don't give a shit, because for me, like, I very am much so about the context of where it is coming from versus.
So with that, right, is if you're not comfortable using it, then don't use it. Don't
drop it.
Don't drop it in because you're trying to fit in,
just
right?
Because you can, but
you know what I'm saying? Because I think that's the thing too. Is right. You may want to use it, but if you don't know how to drop it in where it's supposed to go, it's gonna come off wrong. So stick with what you know.
You know,
stick with Buddy and you know, whatever else. I mean, this is really just getting crazy, right?
But this is funny. This is getting completely off topic at all. It just reminds me. So back when I was in high school, I had this. I ran track. I mean, I hung out with this kid. He was a twin. His name was Jason Bynum Holtz. Shout out Jason Bynum Holtz if you're still alive wherever you are. I don't know. But we had ran track together. And thing we would do, like you're there and you're trying to get your focus, or like you're in school and you're trying to focus or whatever. But like one of the things that he would do, and we would do it to each other, but like it's just funny because his voice was not as deep as mine. It was just a little higher or whatever. But like if we were at like a track meet and I'd be like prepping, getting my focus, getting my line of sight in, like whatever, like he would walk up and like grab my arm and like, because he was a little shorter, and pull me down and be like, fucking nigga. And just walk but that shit would just it would ease the
fire you
tension.
up.
It would
Okay,
ease
it
the
would just
tension,
kinda-
right? And it settle you down so you can focus. And it was just.
But it only came out of relationship.
But it came out of relationship, right?
Yeah,
And if someone else would have said that to me, I mean, then again, I'm the person where I just don't give a fuck either way. But some people would say that and they want to fight somebody, over that situation. And I don't know. It's just interesting. For me, words can hurt, yes, but I don't think it's necessarily the words hurt as much as the action behind them or the meaning behind them. Because at the end of the day, they're just words, right? The tone dictates what it is, But I feel that as a culture, even like a black culture, that word for us, like, yes, that was. It's not the word; it's the context. And I wish that we could find, and it's hard, and because of so many generations and so much time has passed and the meaning behind it, and it's still used in a negative way, whatever, but it has a lot to do with the context and the relationship with that word at a certain time. But the saying nigger could have just been the same thing as saying toothpick. I don't know, right? And
only thing, because listening to you, I'm like picturing, because we had to watch Roots, right? That was just part of what you had to do. You had to watch that 6 nights of
Jesus
Roots.
Christ, ongoing 2 months of the same fucking movie. Yeah.
And the thing is we saw when people lacked an identity, we'll take whatever we were given. Because at this point there was no identity given to, it was stripped. The identity just stripped. And then this other one is handed over, right? And there's this connotation that is then shared with who they are and what you have to believe, and this is what's going to happen, right? And you are subservient to this group of people, right? And nigger was a word that was used to describe who they were, right? And it was generally in a negative connotation. Okay,
yeah, for sure.
And we began to even say that to each other in that state, right? And so what we see is a continuation of a conversation that started a long time ago, right? When you were calling other people what you had already been called.
Yes.
Right? You were identifying them with an identity that was given to you.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing today. We're still perpetuating the same idea. We're still giving an identity over to somebody, who, because we may not have another identity for them, we give them over into something else, right? Because they may not be your best friend or may not be your good friend, or then they could be a nigga, right? We could hang out, we could be partners or whatever it is, right?
Right.
And I don't know if that made sense, but I think it is rooted and grounded in a conversation that's older than us, right? Older than our parents, older than so many other people that now just continues to matriculate here. And even the conversation of why do y'all do it? That's why we do it. Because it's been ingrained in the fabric of who we are, because we didn't have an identity and we're given one. Now here we are, we sit in it.
But that's the double-edged sword though too, and that's where for me, and as a black person, I get a lot of shit for it in a lot of ways too, is because like that's hard. Like exactly so what you said is exactly true, right? That's what we were called, and then we began calling. So, but in the beginning, it was more of a negative thing than a positive thing,
right?
And that was, but see, that's the thing is that was just, it was a word that was put on us that we put on people just like us.
Yes.
And that was a bad thing, but we're not getting necessarily mad at ourselves for doing it,
right.
But we'll get mad at somebody else for doing it, and that's not okay. And then people will say, "Oh,
but is it not okay? Why is it not okay?"
No, I'm saying it's not okay to not equally put fault on our own as well as we do someone from another race.
Is that a construct we've made?
I mean, right.
We just had this other conversation, right?
Yeah.
Is that a construct that we've created that it has to be equal?
I think that in that situation it should, me personally, because at the end of the day, if you know me, I want everybody to be treated equally. I want everybody to be treated the same. I want everybody to have equal opportunity. And in like, that's just like, right. If I'm gonna,
is that realistic?
I mean, it's not always, because people vary from person to person. Everybody's always going to have different thoughts and feelings. So there's never going to be a true level, a true balance. But I think that we're so far off from even coming close to that. You know, it's one of those things, you know, where, you know, if you're raising your son, like, is it right for you to tell him, you better not do this, and I'm gonna whoop your ass if you do, and then you turn around and go do the same thing?
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so from example, like, we're taking something, we're saying that's a bad word, but then we're going to turn around and use it in the same negative way. Like, why are you going to jump down this person's throat but not jump down yours? It's like, look at yourself before you cast that you know, blame,
you know what,
on somebody
else. To be
else.
honest, because there's there's good friends of mine who don't use the word and who are offended by the use of the word. Right. And again, I think the context still matters. Whether you're black, white, or indifferent, right?
For sure.
And so there are I even have to gauge, you know, because sometimes it's when I'm joking, you know,
right.
It's never in a normal comment. This is when I'm joking, or, you know, I'm laughing, and, you know, there's just something that's crazy going on, right?
Yeah.
And I have to even then gauge my audience, right? Because I don't want to be offensive to anybody, even in that conversation.
Yeah, but and that's where a whole nother set of rules and rabbit holes and everything comes into play, right? Because now you're not fully being yourself at the sake of trying not to upset someone else who really probably shouldn't even be upset about it at all, especially if they're your friends, because they know your true meaning. And the fact that they would still be upset by that, then they got a whole nother set of issues that they need to work on, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's just weird, right? It's this thing where,
well, there was one person that was it's a trigger because it was used in a negative regard, right? When they were younger. So, you know, they got into this altercation, and it happened from a white gentleman who meant it to destroy him, right?
Yeah.
Who was part of that.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, deal with your issues, bro. And
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that.
And for me, that's funny saying, right? Because I'm still trying to deal with my shit. But like, who hasn't been called? What black person hasn't been called a nigger by a white person? I have. Mm-hmm. I have when I was, you know, going through Louisiana.
But does that negate their experience though? Because it didn't affect you in that way.
No, it doesn't negate their experience. And trauma is trauma, but you have to learn how to deal with that, and you have to learn, right? It's separating the people from the product, mm-hmm. right? 100%. And I can understand like that being a trigger, you know, but like, you know, for me, I have a lot of negative experience with alcohol. Mm-hmm. And so to this, you know, ever since 2004, I don't drink, I don't even taste, I don't sip, mm-hmm. I don't anything, because it's a trigger, it's a bad thing for me. Does that mean that I'm never going to be around people that do it? Mm-hmm. Or am I going to tell someone you better not do that, or don't you drink? Or like, no, I'm not going to tell you not to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just because it triggers me does not mean it's the same experience for you, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something that I have to deal with. But I don't hold that against, like, my reasons why that bothers me, I can't hold against everybody else, of course, around me for that.
Yeah, I got you.
And I think that is a lot of, you know, where this word, like, we play this game with this word on what's acceptable and what's not. And that to me is frustrating, because there's no set rules. It's become one of those things that we can react however we want based upon how we're feeling that day. Right. And that's not okay. Mm-hmm. You know, and me personally, I use the word a lot. Like, when I was younger, yeah, I did use it probably more. When I was doing music, probably, yeah, I used it more. It also rhymes a lot easier with a lot of things, so it makes writing music a lot easier. But do I use it now in my regular everyday day, whatever? No, not so much. if someone around me uses it, am I going to be offended? No. And it doesn't matter if they're white, black, Chinese, Asian, whatever. Like, as long as it's not in a negative way, I don't care. But there's just so many people out there. Maybe it's just because they want to try to make a scene or create an issue, but like, they don't want to hear, if you're not black, we don't want to hear that shit coming out your mouth. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. You don't want to be told what to do, so why are you telling someone else what to do? Like, and it kind of, this is a good tie-in to like the Aquafina situation, right? You know, where you have her now coming off of Twitter. If you don't know who Aquafina is, we'll link her in the description, whatever, when this comes out. But her coming off of Twitter and being accused of basically stealing black vernacular or whatever, if you will, right? Or appropriating, or whatever the situation is. And that's really bothered her, like, it really bothered her. But this is someone that grew up in New York, that grew up around that type of speech, that type of language, that type of everything, and now she's being hated on for being who she is, and being told you're fucked up for being who you are. That's not fair. You know, there's plenty of people that grow, like in California, go to LA, go to wherever, you look at those borders, there's plenty of, I've met plenty of black people that sound like a Mexican, because they hang out with Mexicans. Right. Are they appropriating? No, that's just what they know. There's a stupid show, I want to say it's called Shop Swap. I don't know, it's on Netflix. Okay. But basically, long story short, it's there's this whatever in bumfuck Egypt, I don't know if you can say that anymore, BFE, but they have a radio station where they come on and they list things that are for sale, and it's like a swap meet, and then it's like first person that gets the thing gets to buy it, and then they follow these groups of people that are resellers, right? Okay. And they go to buy whatever. Anyway, the reason why I bring this up, and if you guys like weird, stupid accents, you got to go watch the show. Like episode 3 or 4, like, you know, they introduce a new couple every episode, right? Okay. So there's an episode with a white guy, nerdy motherfucker, and he's married to a Japanese woman. Okay. Right? And they met in Japan somewhere, whatever, and then she wanted to come to school to learn, like, you know, do whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, long story short, she didn't know any Japanese or any English at all. Okay. Right? In the beginning, she's a fiddle player and plays bluegrass and all this other shit and everything else, right? So all of her English that she's learned was off of these fucking records. Got it. But she has a Japanese accent, but speaks like a goddamn bluegrass player, and it's the worst fucking accent I've ever heard in my life. It's fucking hilarious. But the thing about it is, are you gonna say she's appropriating? Like, no, like she only knows that's all she knows. She doesn't know anything else, and she lives with a person that has a country ass accent as well, and she learned off of these records. Yeah. So you're gonna tear her apart, you know, because of. And I think as a black community, where, and this probably piss a lot of black people off, we're the first, not the first, but we're some of the first people to holler appropriation. And in all honesty, man, I think yelling or claiming appropriation is stupid. I think it's stupid because we're on both sides of the fence, right? Where we want to be able to, well, not all of us, but we want to be able to be entrepreneurial and create something that everybody wants, right? So what is that? We're taking our blackness and trying to give it to the world. But then when someone takes it, I think that's it though. I think that's it. I think we've gotten to the point now where even the most minor thing, right, sends up a red flag to say, hey, you're trying to steal something else. I mean, that's kind of where it is, right? It's like, you know, we didn't get the credit for 99% of the things that were created, the broom, the, you know, whatever it is, right? Yeah. These little things that you wouldn't even know, that
patents were stolen off of. You know, if we go down to the deep levels of it, right?
No, for sure, but that's not the argument, right? And that's not a lot of the argument. And if we're going to argue those things, I will fully stand behind that. If we say that the black man,
but what I'm saying is, I think is the oil has risen to the top, right? And so there's some things now that we are making big that really aren't. They're on a stolen patent. It's just who are you trying to be, right? And you trying to be something that I am is now becoming offensive.
Right.
And so now we're gonna kick you out the club.
But I want to know why.
I think it's at that point where I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing what I do on a daily basis now being the thing that is glamorized because you're Asian or because you're white or because because now you saw the flip side of it when I forgot your dude's name, but Old Time Road, right? When he did a Western song but in a hip hop way, that's what took off, right? Because we're not that dude.
Yeah.
Typically, right? So I think that's what's happening is that you feel like, and this is just me speculating, is that I'm tired of seeing my stuff get put on a billboard and me not get credit for it.
Yeah, but it goes the other way though, and I feel like that's where, because you talk about Old Town Road, right? There wasn't the same amount of black people hollering, we're stealing what they do.
Yeah, nobody cared.
Nobody. But that's
because it's not offensive on our side.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that what is, and for me, it's one thing to steal. It's one thing to steal and not give credit, right? That's wrong on any fashion. Doesn't matter if it's culture or your homework, right? It's just steal and not cite where you got the information from. But for me, I would be thrilled to see me crossing over the lines, and I may not be getting the paycheck or whatever, but at least it's making that the impact is there. And at some point in time, the truth is always going to come out when it comes to it, because if they're fashionable, they're whatever, they ain't gonna be able to stay that way because it's not their idea.
What if it's there's a failure to acknowledge the value? What if that's what it is?
And
not that you can't use it, but like you said, there's a failure to cite it,
right?
And to say that it's valuable enough for me to now.
I think that it's gonna come down to case by case,
of course,
right?
Of course.
So like in an instance of like the Aquafina situation, right? This woman is having to apologize for literally being who she is and make it
what she's always known.
Yeah, what she's always known, and make it about someone else's issue because of that. Like, that's not okay.
But okay. So the part of it is that she's not standing up for who she is at this point. And it may be because she wants to protect this thing that she's created, right?
No, of
and
course.
Because that thing is on the line, she's willing to backtrack and actually not be who she really is.
But that's all these bitches out here, The Rock including, his backtracking ass. Like, but that's what it did. Like, man, be who you are.
But there's a lot at stake to be who you are.
Who gives a shit at that
they
point?
They do, clearly.
But that's what gets me mad, is that these people,
because the higher you go up, the more it's gonna matter.
But these people that have more money than God, right?
But it's not enough.
I mean, hey, that's a whole nother.
If you scratch
whatever.
out what got me here, then how do I maintain it?
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but
and that creates a fear.
That's a whole nother episode about.
I mean, we got 20 episodes in this one, man.
Fiscally responsible with your funds that you have, so you don't got to worry, right? In our last episode, having shit to where you don't have to give a shit.
Yeah,
right. But that's what it boils down to. But the fact that they would have to backtrack, and the fact that it's okay now to attack people for literally being who they are, or being what, it's not like, and Aquafina's case, it's not like she's running around saying, I'm black, nigga, I'm black. Like, no, she was just being herself, you know? And you're going to punish somebody for that and not even cite any real specific reason why. You're just saying because of how you sound. How is that any different than saying, I don't like you because your skin's black? Like, it's not any different. You're just picking someone who's, that's just not fair to me. That's not fair to me at all to be able to have that. And her influence, whether she acknowledges that, oh, I got this because of this, or I got this because of that or not, like, she is influenced by that culture. She's going to pull something from that culture and she's going to be associated with and be seen with. Like, you're driving people away from a culture because you say you don't want to appropriate it, but then at the same time, like, you're taking from other cultures, but you're also wanting people to consume, as long as it financially benefits you, consume your culture, right? You don't want to appropriate, but you'll braid the shit out of a white bitch's hair in a heartbeat because of, you know, it's financially beneficial. How's that fair? You know,
I don't know that fairs. Who cares about fair?
Who cares about fair, right? But I don't know. Like, I just think that there I don't know. You know?
Yeah, I think we're kind of, because I'm at the I don't know place too. You know, it's yeah, it's like, where do you go from here? When, I mean, in that instance, that's, I said earlier, it's just,
it's hard.
I think she has a there's a couple responsibilities here. She has a responsibility to stand up for who she is.
Yeah,
right?
Won't happen, but yeah.
Huh?
It won't happen.
I mean, I get it. But she has a responsibility to stand up for who she is, to, if she had to defend, because her not doing that says that it was created for this.
I think that people will assume that.
But if she comes and apologizes,
but
you didn't do anything wrong, why are you apologizing?
Because that's what the small little group of warriors, right? The squeaky wheel always gets the grease. Doesn't matter how big it is, you know, it can cause a whole lot of whatever. And I can understand it. Like, me personally,
I don't understand it though, because at this point, if she says this is truly who she is, she's now pushing that to the side and saying, okay, my fault, my bad, that wasn't me. Now what is her music gonna be? What is she gonna be after this?
No, but she's not doing too much music anymore anyway. She's more into acting. But that's the thing though, is that it's one of those things that, and that's where it's frustrating for me, because honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what she says. At this point, once that group of whoever they are gets their sights locked on you, it doesn't matter at all what you say. You can stick up for yourself, and now you're an asshole for that. You can apologize. It doesn't matter. You're still casualties of war. It's still going to happen. It doesn't matter what you do, because you're not going to please those people. But those people control the narrative of a lot of life. And I don't know, it just pisses me off in that whole situation, because no one should have to apologize for who they are, and they're not going to believe you even if you do. And I've been in situations where there's a lot of time, even with just friends, like, I don't feel like I have to justify why I feel a certain way with everything. And, you know, she's obviously on a whole nother level and spectrum that we're not on, right? You're talking about someone with millions of followers on the platforms and X amount of dollars coming in, and these people, this, that, and the other.
Because why now though?
Because she's in the spotlight. That's what it is. I mean, if we end up with 5 million followers, they're probably gonna
come in and try to find something.
Episode 002, where I said one, because you know it's gonna be me. It's not gonna be you. It's gonna be my black ass. That they just pulled a reel together of.
It's gonna be this nigga.
Right, this nigga right here. that pulled this shit
man,
together.
did I just do that? Yeah, I did.
You did.
I did.
And it's gonna be 2 minutes long of me just bashing every race on the planet, and then there's gonna be no context to it, and then everybody's gonna pull sponsorships and whatever, and it all boils down to money at the end of the day, right?
So okay, you said that. So how do you and I, we've created an identity here, right? We've created a following, whatever it is. We've created a platform that we are. So then the money then controls the narrative at that point. Because if they're pulling sponsorships, if they're threatening to do this and threatening to do that, then you really never had control anyway.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, and I think that's what a lot of it is. I think a lot of these people don't have control. I mean, when you're in the spotlight like that and you have a end goal vision, I don't really believe that you do have any control over what you do. Like you
can walk away from it.
I mean, yeah, but then you're no longer in that light, right? And I think that's what. I don't know. I can't speak for her. I can't speak for the Rock's backtracking.
So let me. Okay, can you apologize now before we get to that point?
Right before, man, fuck y'all. Put that on there.
There go the sponsorships.
Yeah, and that's fine. But the thing about it is that for me, if you don't want to sponsor me because of what I say, then I don't want to work with you anyway. You know, but it should be a deeper meaning to that, you know, and that's what people neglect to see, you know. I don't know. I get so irritated. I just think that we need to do better. And why can't we just find some new shit to argue about? Really, at this point, like,
for what?
How long are we gonna just?
What do we need? Something new to argue about?
I don't know, man. Because I'm tired of arguing about nigga this and nigga that.
Well, I didn't know that one was as big as it is anymore.
It's huge. It's still huge, and I don't know why. I don't know, and I don't know why people get as mad as they do.
I think people get as mad as they do because there are still crazy people. There's still a crazy teacher that called the little black boy in class a nigga.
I mean, was he being a nigga?
Because he wasn't doing, you know what I'm saying, what she expected him to do, right? Or whatever it was. And so then that continues to fuel. It's another log on the fire. So everybody has a personal responsibility that we're gonna have to get over this.
But that's the thing, though,
trauma.
Too. But and I could get but then that's people working on their own issues, and it's just interesting though too, because, and I tell this at my last job. I had. Hold
on. No, you said that. I'm sorry.
No, what?
Okay, so maybe the little black boy is it, but did you call the white boy that was doing the same thing a nigga? Because then now we making sense.
And she might have, and they just cut it out.
No, they absolutely did not.
You never know.
You know the point I'm trying to make.
I know what the point I'm trying to make. I know I do. You know, and I get it. You know, but also it also just depends. And that's weird though too, because it's on comfort though too. And I'll go back to what I was saying before. But right, there is a comfort level too, because I don't know what's a real white name. I don't know.
What you mean?
Karen. We'll just say Karen.
Okay,
teacher Karen. I don't feel like that's really a white name. I feel like there's a whiter name, Allegra. so I don't know. So Allegra's teaching, right? And Allegra may in her personal life hang out with Shaquita and Mercedes, and
I'm not trying to figure that out in the background.
Anyway, people see where I'm going.
Because you're being real stereotypical, right? Dog.
Exactly, this is the point I'm trying to make. So the white teacher, her whole gang of friends outside of work may be black, and that may be how she talks, whatever. And so she may see Devontae in there acting like a nigga.
I don't like this conversation,
right? Dog. And she's just comfortable, and it comes out. She would never, because she's comfortable in that environment. And now we're gonna bust her upside her head, right? Because but it's true. And so, and this is where, and I guess for me,
she has to know that she can't do that.
No, but here's the thing:
because of the consequences.
Okay, kinda. And should you call anybody
in today's world? In today's world, she has to know that she can't do that.
Should you call somebody a nigga in the job? No. And you know what? Okay, she's gonna have to accept consequences for that. But the exterior stuff, the attacking without knowing the person, and trying to cancel a person without knowing the person, is where I have a problem with. And the reason why I say that was kind of going into what I was gonna say earlier, but it's also because here's the thing, right? So Like my last job that I had, right? I had a white manager, and she very much so has a black swag.
Okay.
Right? And you could very easily look at her and be like, she's appropriating. And how she would talk to me is different a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. She's a little more comfortable with me, right? And she would get into it with black customers, and they would automatically, you white bitch, this, that, and other, you don't know no black people, blah, 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 da, 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 da. But she's married to a black man. But we're automatically calling her out and shaming her and saying this, that, or the other because of how she acts or talks or whatever, and we don't know nothing about her. That's not okay. Also, a lot of my family, right? If you see me with like half my aunts on my dad's side, you'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Because they all Casper White.
Okay.
But they talk.
Okay.
My Aunt Betty, especially when I was younger, white as can be, would braid her hair in too long olive oil pigtails, but had black vernacular and would say whatever, and that's okay. And again, it's relationship, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is like, and it's a different time, whatever, but you would see that person, that would be someone that you would cancel because they were out with someone and you heard them say whatever, you know, not okay. And now I take it more personally because this is my family, right? Now I'm about to whip your nigga ass because you talking about my family, and she can say whatever she wants. And I guess for me, that's also why I'm more comfortable and don't care who uses it, because my family ain't deeply rooted in being black. I mean, hell, look at my sister. When we were together, everybody thought she was my girlfriend because she's half white, half black.
Okay.
You know? So I'm okay. Like, I don't care. As long as it's not in a negative fashion towards me, say whatever the fuck you want to say. We just doing what we do.
So if it don't bother you, if it doesn't come towards you, then it's not a problem.
I don't see it as being, if it's towards me or towards anybody. Like if I was,
so that wouldn't incite you. You're in a moment. It's the height of it is up here, and you know somebody rattles one off. That doesn't add to the fuel.
I mean, it depends. Like if we're in a very high stress, tense situation, I mean, well, I'd probably be a little more cool headed with it. I mean, I'll get mad, but I would know that they're trying to incite something.
Okay.
At that point,
and you're able to decipher between, and you're able to bring down that knowing.
Yeah, because
that's not respond.
That's what they want.
Okay.
At that point, I can identify. Like if you're in a tense situation and that comes rattling off, like you're trying to, so you can bust a cap in my ass or whatever it is you're trying to do. Like you want something to happen.
You want a response,
and I'm not going to give that to you. But if you're like, if you're singing a song and niggas in the song, like you shouldn't have to be hardcore
and then bleep it out.
Yeah, like you shouldn't have to do that. Just be you. You don't got to do that shit for me. like it is what it is.
The car goes quiet.
Yeah, the car goes, and they all look over at you. Right. You gonna go crazy.
Yeah,
and then get back to the song.
I've been there. Where everybody.
Exactly. You see how you gonna react? Like, man, I probably wasn't even listening, but now I know.
I wasn't even paying attention because y'all was off key and didn't know the words anyway.
Exactly, off beat, dancing, stupid, and everything else, right? But that's just, it is what it is, right? So I don't know. Like I just think people should be like, if it's not, again, treat everybody kind. Not even be fair, just be kind. Just be kind.
There's a lack of love, man. We don't love each other, and I'm not saying it has to be this ooh goo goo gaga, roses and candy kind of love. I'm just saying, love them with an open hand, man, and let people make mistakes.
Exactly.
Because we're gonna make them every day. Let people make mistakes and be able to correct their mistake if it's a true mistake, and not be destroyed over it, man.
Perfect. We're gonna come back to nigga talk at a later time. We'll leave it right there, man.
Peace.
What's going on, guys? Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We appreciate you listening for sure. But we need your help.
Yeah, we need your help. We need you to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can continue to make great content for you guys.
Yeah, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe.
And it's right here on the screen. Everything you need.
Right there. Thank you so much, guys, for listening.
All right, take care.